Good morning to all of you out there. I'm Cito Beltran. Welcome to the program Agenda on Signal TV channels 8 and 250, as well as on facebook.com/ One News PH. And on YouTube, you can watch us by putting in One News PH. Okay. Today is October 14, 2020. It's a Wednesday, and it just occurred to me it's really a toss up between a March 13 or a March 16. But whatever the case may be, we are entering into a full 7 months under quarantine of various degrees. So it would be good to figure out where exactly are we right now. This week there have been glimpse or small signs that the situation for national capital region supposedly was improving in terms of transmission of COVID-19. But in the news, some people were saying, nah, not really, so be careful. In any case, we're going to speak to Professor Guido David, a regular of Agenda, and he got us started into monitoring all of this. The UP OCTA group, UST, Guido David, Ranjit Rai, and their group out there, they're really doing a great job helping Filipinos get an idea of what's happening with COVID-19, the infections, the transmissions, etc. After Professor Guido David, we will interview kasamang Mody Floranda. He is the president of PISTON, and to get their response, their reaction to the pronouncement of Malacanang na pwede na muling tumakbo. I think there were quite a number of routes opened up for jeepneys, and then the president, or at least the cabinet, agreed on a one seat apart policy for public transportation. What are their reactions to all of this? And last but not the least, we've invited an ophthalmologist, Dr. Mary Rose Cheng, ophthalmologist, to help us become more aware of what to expect as with children going on different learning mode, particularly yung mga gumagamit po ng tablets. Kasi napapansin ko yan, even when when I was allowed to go to work, before they said senior citizens can't go to offices, I noticed a lot of the young people in the office would be looking at their tablets like this, or their screens like that, and I said, kids, you better get the correct glasses. You better see an ophthalmologist. You better check your doctor with your doctor. Kasi alam niyo po, everyone is obsessing about signal, about internet, about connectivity, about having tablets, but no one has been talking about correct usage, correct distance, and impact and effects of electronic screens. Okay, so we'll discuss that later in the program. Excuse me. In the meantime, let's go to the news, the stories on the front page of the Philippine Star. The new House leadership, headed by Speaker Lord Alan Velasco, has overturned the second reading passage of the 4.5 trillion peso national budget bill. Now, the lower chamber is returning the budget talks to plenary debates, effectively voiding the surprise decision of former Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano to pass the measure on second reading. Meanwhile, Davao City Representative Paulo Duterte was appointed new chairman of the House Committee on Accounts, replacing Cavite Congressman Bambol Tolentino, a known Cayetano ally. Next up, the cabinet has unanimously approved the one-seat-apart rule in public transport as the government continues to move toward reopening the economy. Malacanang said this new rule will be implemented once the Transportation Department or DOTR comes out with proper guidelines. The cabinet also approved gradual resumption of provincial buses, motorcycles, taxis, and transport network vehicle services, or TNVS. We will interview a representative of PISTON, the president of PISTON, for their reaction on this. The meeting called by the Labor Department to tackle issues on the 13th-month pay has reached a deadlock. According to the Federation of Free Workers, or FFW, President Sani Matula said that no agreement was reached among the parties, but they maintain that the 13-month pay of workers should be given to them as they need it badly. Also discussed during the meeting were the policies on employees who were placed on floating status during the pandemic. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III is expected to release a statement today about these matters. And watch out, the low-pressure area of eastern Samar is now tropical depression Ofel, and it is expected to bring heavy rains and gusty winds, especially over Bicol and eastern Visayas. Storm signal warning number 1 is raised in various provinces in those areas. Ofel is the 15th storm to enter the country this year, and it is expected to make landfall over Samar this morning. Excuse me lang. I apologize. I had to blow my nose on that one. Okay, so those are the major stories on the front page of the Philippine Star. Now, regarding po yung mga pronouncements coming out of Malacanang recently, a lot of them were welcome news. You know, we already got a glimpse from MMDA General Manager Jojo Garcia when we interviewed him that they would recommend to the IATF and to Malacanang na yung restriction on age na only those who are 21 to 60 can go out of can be authorized persons outside of residence, ay ipapa-expand nila 18 to 65. Ang nangyari, what happened was Malacanang, the cabinet decided, no, let's do it 15 to 65, which is a welcome development because what will happen is there will be more consumers, more activity, etc. And the 18 to 21 bracket, marami po dyan, may mga asawa na, may pamilya na, or inaasahan ng pamilya. But here's the catch. The question now is it going to be a situation where they can freely go out, where they can go to stores, go outdoors, etc.? Or is this going to be another case of kung may trabaho ka and only for essentials? Kasi alam niyo po, pag ganun yung mangyari, biglang meron na namang mga, syempre, yung mga kapulisan natin, mag-a-announce din. Kung wala kayong pass, kung wala kayong permit, kung wala kayong barangay quarantine pass, hindi kayo pwedeng lumabas, it becomes a self-defeating process because while one group is opening or relaxing the restrictions, another group is citing restrictions, and we're going to have problems with that. And then in the case of this situation with the UP OCTA, kahapon po, nadinig ko yung kaibigan ko si Professor Ranjit Rai, he was providing very useful information. Saan pumuputok yung COVID-19, saan tumataas, saan bumababa. And they made recommendations that perhaps in this area, the government should do this, should do that. Aba, kanyo, nag-react yung isang tao doon sa Malacanang na hindi daw trabaho na UP OCTA yun. Dapat daw, kung meron silang rekomendasyon, idaan na lang sa IATF at sa Malacanang. Alam niyo po, ang dami ng recommendation na dinaan sa IATF at sa Malacanang. let's take one in particular. The recommendation that we put a price cap or a price ceiling or regulate or systematize or have one price for COVID testing RT-PCR. 7 months na po. Hanggang ngayon, wala kayong magawang desisyon. Okay? So medyo, yun lang po, no? Puro kayo idaan sa inyo, idaan sa inyo. Hindi kayo makadesisyon. Tagal ninyong dumiskarte dyan. I'm sorry. I don't want to be disrespectful. But you know, when one group is just merely making recommendations and you shoot them down, well, you know, by the measure that you judge others, so shall you be judged. In any case, let's go to a representative of the UP OCTA Research Group, our regular go-to guy, Professor Guido David, part of the UP OCTA research team. He teaches undergraduate and graduate level courses in applied mathematics and UP Diliman. My friend, Professor, good morning to you.
Yes, yes. Good morning, my friend. Good to see you again.
Okay, well, first of all, could we just get updates? Because I heard Ranjit Rai talk yesterday on radio, and I found it very illuminating. Apparently, you guys have become more detailed in your analysis, in your forecast, or actually, hindi na forecast, actual na eh. Could you just give us a picture of the situation right now, Professor David?
Yes, Cito. What we decided actually, and ito rin yung narinig namin na what the government wants, is to see yun nga, a more granular snapshot of the pandemic, of what's happening around the country. So ngayon, hindi na tayo provincial level. We're now looking at it from a city level or LGU level, which places have the highest attack rates. Kasi yung attack rate nakadepende sa population. So it doesn't help us a lot kung sabihin natin, maraming cases sa Quezon City. Because, of course, mataas yung population ng Quezon City. So we should base it on population. And in fact, nung reenact natin yung Quezon City, it's only 11th out of 17 LGUs in Metro Manila. So mababa actually yung attack rate ng Quezon City. So relative to population, Quezon City is actually doing better in terms of yung risk level. And yung attack rate gives us a sense of yung ano yung risk level ng isang city. And we found, we were surprised to see some new names na hindi namin, I mean, like I've never been to Bawan, Batangas, pero it's ranked high do sa list natin of mga yun nga, mga cities na na medyo mataas yung attack rate. So right now we see Iloilo City, Bawan, Baguio City, Calbayog, Angono, General Trias, and Bacolod having high risk assessments sa places nila.
Okay, so that's actually more pinpoint. Now, regarding Metro Manila, for instance, we have 17 cities and 1 municipality. What's the situation? Because I've always been, but sorry to use the word, bitching about it, Guido. Because, sabi ko nga, ang hirap naman yan na parang pinagsama-sama na lang tayo by region and we don't see if there's an improvement. The good news, according to what you just said, is that Quezon City, relative to the 17 cities in NCR, they're only number 11. So sino ba ang number 1 na namumroblema or in terms of this attack rate? When you say attack rate, can you just clarify that for our viewers?
I will give you. Yes, attack rate is really just yung number of new infections relative to population. So ang measurement namin is a daily attack rate, yung average daily attack rate. And it's percentage per 100,000 people. So it just means every 100,000 people, how many yung nai-infect for every 100,000. Parang kumaga per capita siya na infection rate. So ang nakikita natin na top 5 sa Metro Manila are San Juan, Pateros, Makati, Pasay, and Marikina. So these have almost 10% per 1,000 attack rate. So medyo consistently mataas yung numbers nila. Pero Hindi naman porque mataas yung attack rate. I mean, we just say na, oh, mataas yung risk level dyan. Yes, mataas pa rin currently yung risk level. Pero the good news is decreasing naman itong mga top 5 na to. So they've had 2 weeks of decrease in attack rate, meaning pababa na to, on a downward trending attack rate nila.
Mhm.
And the best performing naman, like 17 is Caloocan, and then 16 and 15 na Botas and Malabon. So makikita rin natin yung how the LGU has responded to the pandemic and yung mga measures na ginagawa nila. So that's why some of these have shown a good performance. Hindi naman natin sinasabing walang nangyayari sa other LGUs, but and sometimes problematic din syempre kung maliit yung population, di ba? Like San Juan and Pateros, they're actually 1 and 2. They have a small population. So even though yung raw numbers nila, like they're getting only, for example, less than 10 cases per day, minsan very sensitive yung attack rate sa low numbers. So madagdagan lang ng is one new case nila, parang tataas na agad yung attack rate nila. Whereas in big cities like Quezon City and Manila, the average works out better. Pero yun, there are some smaller LGUs like Malabon and Navotas naman, kahit mababa yung population nila, we can see na their attack rate is low.
Okay, now as far as the picture is concerned, NCR, what's really happening? Because some people said, actually in interviews on Agenda, they've told us, Cito, truth be told, bumababa na ang cases overall sa NCR, gumaganda ang sitwasyon. And in fact, it was with Jojo Garcia of MMDA, where I said, this is the kind of news we need to hear. You guys are doing the stats. What are the factual statistics telling you?
Actually, we have been saying since nung September, first week of September the word was we were flattening the curve sa NCR. And this continues, the trend has been continuing. Kasi nung peak natin around middle of August, we were getting more than 2,000 cases per day sa NCR alone. In fact, parang 2,500 yung average natin. We were even close to 3,000. Ngayon, less than 1,000 cases na. So if you think about it, that's a big decrease from, let's say, 3,000 to 1,000. That's a significant decrease in a matter of just more than 1 month. And that's why we want this trend to continue. If this continues, siguro by end of October, we're hoping we're getting mga 600 cases per day sa buong NCR, and by end of November, maybe mga 300 cases. That means it is yung pandemic natin will be very, very managed.
Yeah, Guido, I'm worried, no, because I just spoke with my wife last night, and she was telling me that they were talking. People in Europe were talking about a second wave happening already. There's been a rise of cases in some other countries in Europe. If I remember correctly, when I listened to the interview of Ranjit Rai on DCBB, I believe, Ranjit was saying that they had observed a limited incidence of spikes when transportation was being eased up, when distancing was being eased up. Is that, did I hear right, or medyo na mali-mali lang ako?
Regarding sa Europe, so let me first address that, na nagkakaroon ng spikes. This is mostly due to we believe yung seasonality effect ng COVID, because like most flu viruses, they thrive during cold seasons. So ngayon kasi sa Europe na siya, I mean not just autumn pero pa winter na eh. And dito talaga nag-thrive yung COVID. And that's why we're seeing an increase in cases sa mga temperate, cold climate places. Now, yung sa sinasabi ni Professor Ranjit, we actually saw that kasi nagkaroon ng test run ng yung MMDA, that the distancing was actually decreased for a few days. And according to one of our colleagues, nung tinignan niya yung mobility, tumaas nga yung mobility nun. And at the same time, there was an uptick in cases during that period. So it's a small sample. So but it could be correlated. So ngayon, kung mag-reduce ng social distancing, we will see the effect, pero hindi pa natin talaga malalaman yung effect until it actually happens.
Okay, so you are concerned that with the announcement of the cabinet na pwede na yung 1 seat apart. I think we've been doing the 1 seat apart unofficially for some time now. Now with this becoming official, are you worried that there will be more cases or there will be a surge or an uptick?
I don't think yung risk levels because or increase in risk by having 1 seat apart will be very significant to be. I mean, this is just my personal assessment, not the OCTA group mismo. Because yun nga, unofficially we've been doing that for some time already. So if siguro we're as long as we're wearing face mask and face shield, doing personal hygiene, I think it will be more or less the same. That's my but it remains to be seen. But at the same time, if we further reduce social distancing, kunyari, hindi na 1 seat apart, tabi-tabi na, then definitely it will be a bit more concerning because we will start to have overcrowding, and overcrowding is one of the causes of community transmissions.
You know, about a month ago, I think the IATF able to pinpoint that the community transmission happened mostly at workplaces, canteens, smoking areas, etc. What are the chances that increased mobility will mean increased flocking, so to speak? Kasi ang worry ko dyan, baka mamaya ang sisihin na naman yung mobility, ang problema pala yung flocking. Nakikita ba ninyo yan in the data that's presented to you? Are you able to decipher whether there is an uptick at workplaces or whether it is, as you mentioned earlier, your colleague mentioned na parang may slight increase lang dong nagkaroon na increase in mobility? Is it mobility or is it being together at a particular place? Kasi inuuwi rin nila sa trabaho yon.
Yes, that's a good point, Cito. So, yun nga, in mathematics or statistics, sometimes we talk about, causality or correlation. So, doesn't mean na pag nag-increase ito na yung reason for this increase. Pwedeng incidental. For example, like you said, increased mobility means more people going to work, and maybe most of the transmissions happens to work. And I can believe actually yung sinabi mo na sa canteen karami nangyayari ng transmissions, because what happens is sa canteen, people remove masks to eat, or pag sa smoking area, they remove masks to smoke. And syempre, wala nang mask natin. And ito yung pinaka primary defense natin against COVID. And there's another interesting tidbit na I want to share na you see one of our colleagues, si Father Nick, he also looked at because we have a company that's working with us right now, and we're looking at based on CCTVs yung wearing of face masks, and we found that based on a limited sample, we're getting only mga 80% are wearing face masks properly. So that is lower than we previously thought. And this is also another factor sa mga transmissions, when people don't follow protocols or follow them pero hindi naman properly followed. Like they have the face mask pero minsan nasa baba. So that's also significant kasi that's 1 out of 5 people based on the limited sample natin. So anyway, back to your original question. Yun nga, it's not necessarily the mobility, but maybe yun nga, yung flocking or clustering of people. So we cannot pinpoint which is the main cause because we don't have data on that.
Well, it's good that we're having this conversation because it reminded me of something I saw last weekend. I was walking from the store or something. And may nakita ko tatlong parang, ewan ko, para silang mga nag-field work. I don't know if they were, what company they were, but they were all wearing uniforms, and dalawang babae, isang lalaki. And they were having lunch. And they were like maybe a meter apart from each other. And gusto ko nang lapitan and sabihin, wag kayo ganyang kalapit. But I have to confess, even and I think a lot of people are beginning to forget the face mask thing, especially if you feel, bahay ko naman to, walang may sakit dito, or farm ko ito, or compound namin ito. In fact, I think the compound thing is one weak area for that, yung sinabi mong face mask, because many people, we're one family here, or we all know each other here, nobody goes out and nobody's sick, pero yung asymptomatic nga ang problema. So do you foresee this kind of situation getting worse? Because I think even Malacanang and the cabinet members recognized the weak link, which was the constant messaging, reminder, and promotion of all these health protocols. Parang puro na-focus masyado sa mga kung ano-anong press con, hindi na may maintain yung reminder to the people.
Yes, and we hope not na mag-worsen yung pag-wearing ng face mask, because that is our primary defense. And sa US nga, according to one of our contributors, yun nga, medyo mas mababa, mas less compliant yung mga Americans. Marami sa kanilang hindi nagpa-face mask. Although, yun nga, a significant portion of the population very compliant naman, but at the same time meron mga iba na hindi nag-ano, and that is partly leading to a high number of infections. Sa atin naman, actually wearing the face shield is a big help, because kung may mga hindi nga masyadong sumusunod sa face mask, at least pag may face shield parang napipilitan din sila. Although I do see a lot of people din sa pag lumalabas ako na yung face shield, meron nga nakataas naman. So parang parang nagiging na rin siya. Pero ang naman natin dito sa target is yung statistics na if certain percentage of people are compliant naman, if we get mga 90% compliance, we'll still be in the same trajectory. And ngayon naman, that means yung community transmissions have significantly decreased sa NCR. So that means whatever we have been doing is working naman. So hindi naman ako masyadong worried about yung people not starting to become complacent. I mean, we are starting to become complacent, but at the same time, important pa rin yung constant messaging. We still have to hammer these ideas. I mean, we've been doing this dito for ilang months na. 6 months, I think, and we're still talking about the same thing, the same messaging. So sometimes it just needs to be hammered, I think, to the general public.
Yeah, well, I agree with you on that one. Now, last two questions, Guido. What's your forecast for this coming November, end of October, November? Because we may not have winter, but if you look out the window, it's pouring rain, and ito yung panahon na marami tayong mga tinatrangkaso. In fact, I've had a lot of people who've had scares kasi akala nila kung ano na, yung pala trangkaso lang talaga. What is your forecast for the coming months?
Totoo yan, Cito. Ako rin, I have scares every now and then kasi parang masakit na yung throat ko, gano'n. Lumalamig na yung climate. And in fact, as an aside, someone pointed out now that could be a possible reason din kung ba't nagkaroon ng surge sa Baguio. It's because yun nga, it's very cold right now in Baguio, lumalamig na. That's where the virus thrives, like we said. Pero regarding your forecast, we have projected around 380 to 410,000 before total cases by end of October. The trajectory is still going to be close to that range. I think nasa mga 400,000 tayo, 390 to 400,000. That's the current trajectory, more or less.
Okay, who's going to be the biggest contributor to that? Is it outside the NCR now? Or would it be like, cold places like Baguio? Or ano sa tingin ninyong, what's developing as far as your statistical radar is concerned?
Yung NCR before, we used to have mga 60% of cases. Right now, we're only contributing 40%. I mean, it's still significant.
Which is good.
But it's good. I mean, it's less than half. So right now, we're seeing the optics, Iloilo, Bacolod is still having big numbers. And mostly sa Calabarzon, Cavite, Batangas, Rizal, ito yung mga parang hotspot natin. But of course, we hope that these places, they're starting to decrease din naman sa Calabarzon. Pero hindi pa consistent yung trend. So we hope to have more consistency, to have them, yung cases nila decrease for, let's say, 2, 3, 4 straight weeks. And then mas magiging kampante na tayo. That will definitely help reduce yung caseload natin.
Guido, Cavite, Calabarzon, I understand that because those are industrial regions or areas. But why Iloilo and Bacolod? Because at the beginning of this pandemic, parang ang ganda ng performance ng Iloilo. We didn't even hear of Bacolod on the radar. Suddenly, pumutok ang mga kaso. Was it because of LSIs or was there another reason?
We think mostly LSIs yung nag-contribute yan. And like we mentioned, wala namang problem with LSIs moving. But it's the strict border policy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think we're having problems with Guido David's signal there. We're going to try to reconnect because I'd also like to get... we'll try to, well, whatever. I don't know if we can. Guido, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. Sorry, I'm not sure where I got cut off. Pero I think it could be mostly LSIs before. Pero syempre, there's significant community transmission in Iloilo and Bacolod. So Bacolod is decreasing already. So we're seeing better numbers. Pero hindi lang actually sa Bacolod. So when we did the localized, the granular check, may mga other places sa Bacolod, sa Negros Occidental, like Talisay in Negros Occidental and Silay. So medyo kumalat siya dun. And that's concerning. Pero at the same time, it's still easier for them to manage the pandemic kasi their numbers are still not very high. And nakita naman natin sa Cebu how Cebu performed. Cebu started being, an epicenter. Ngayon, we classify them as low risk. They have less than 1% attack rate na lang. So talagang, congratulations to Cebu. So that's the success rate na nakita natin. And that's what we want to happen. Kayang-kaya rin naman niya sa Bacolod and sa Iloilo City. Bacolod is getting there. Yung Iloilo, hopefully, will start to have a decrease.
Okay, last question, and I don't want to create I don't want to start up a fight here or a feud, but a lot of people were kind of surprised by the statement of presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, essentially stating that the OCTA group should have just submitted their findings, recommendations to the IATF and to Malacanang instead of making recommendations to the, via media and to the public. Now, I was always under the impression that, well, you are actually a official source or a source of information for us. FOI, freedom of information, public's right to know, etc. Pero parang, ano nangyari? What's your reaction to that statement? Parang sabi ko, bakit biglang follow the protocol?
Yes, well, si spokesperson Harry Roque, I mean, I find him to be a very passionate man. So sometimes yung mga sinasabi niya, it tends to become, I mean, some people get confused about what he says because he's very passionate about what he's saying at the moment. Wala namang problem sa findings namin. We're still going to submit the findings to the general public kasi this is itong ginagawa namin for the national government. So far, we're not being paid for this. I mean, we're getting some funding for it eventually, pero right now we're not on on anyone's payroll for the national government recommendations. So yung findings natin, the trend analysis, I mean, it's actually very useful, and I believe the IATF really likes this findings natin. We're giving a granular snapshot of the pandemic, and this will be made available to the public. I think there were some yung concerns lang yung sa recommendations of whether this LGU should go to a GCQ or ECQ or something. I think yun yung point lang ni spokesperson, that this might lead to some confusion regarding maybe related to chain of command. As far as we're concerned, we're merely parang giving
it was a recommendation. Yeah, you weren't
right. Based on numbers.
Dictating, based on numbers, you weren't dictating, you weren't imposing, or you weren't editorializing. I just found that really strange because, when it serves someone's purpose or when it substantiates a certain position, you are friends, and suddenly when you make a recommendation, parang nagre-react. But hey, maybe you're right. Maybe Harry Roque was just being cautious, preemptive na, teka, huwag kayong ganyan, baka mamaya maging habit na yan o maging trend. In any case, I appreciate that statement that you remain an independent group, you remain to serve the public, and it is all data-driven, it is all statistics, no politics, no agenda. Okay, Professor Guido David, thank you very much once again. And actually, this time, this is actually much more positive discussion kasi mas maraming good news, maraming improvements, and we hope it carries on. Please continue with the good work, and regards to your team out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Cito, for your kind words, and good morning.
Okay. That's Professor Guido David of the UP OCTA Group. Naku, nakalimutan kong tanungin si Guido. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng OCTA na yan? Maybe Guido can just text us because I Googled it, I looked for it, but none of the things that appeared actually explain what OCTA means. Alam ko, UP, University of the Philippines, pero yung OCTA medyo hindi ko ma-pinpoint ko na ibig sabihin. Anyway, we'll go for a break, and when we come back, we'll go to our next guest, Mody, sino ba ito? Nakalimutan ko na, lapasin niya. Mody Floranda, medyo mahirap yung apelido. President of PISTON, regarding the announcement of the cabinet, parang medyo, okay, buksan na natin. Okay, we'll be right back here on Agenda. Welcome back to the program Agenda. I'm Cito Beltran, your host, and you are watching us via Signal TV channels 8 and 250. At para sa inyong hindi pa nakakukuha ng Signal subscription, bilis-bilis yan kasi meron na tayong PBA, meron pa tayong NBA. Ayan, nag-champion na yung LA Lakers, hindi nyo napanood. I suppose, no? In any case, let's go to our next interview. We have with us Mody Floranda, President o Pagkakaisa ng mga samahan ng Chuper at Operator Nationwide or PISTON. Siya rin po ang namumuno sa Metro Manila. Mody, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Magandang umaga po, Sir Cito, sa inyong imbitasyon sa PISTON.
Okay, Mody, ano ang reaction nyo sa announcement mula Malacanang na papayagan na yung paglabas ng mga jeepney, maraming binuksan ng mga ruta, and I think they're also talking about 1 seat apart sa mga sasakyan. Anong ang reaksyon ninyo?
Sa bahagi po namin ay siyempre natutuwa kami doon sa pagbubukas ng Malacanang na pinapayagan na muling makabiyahe yung lahat ng mga sinasabi nila mga traditional of jeepney, hindi lamang dito sa National Capital Region kundi sa buong bansa. Sapagkat ang sektor naman po ng transport ay kakibat at katuwang ng gobyerno doon sa usapin ng pagpapaunlad ng ating ekonomiya. Kaya't sa ngayon po ay sinasabi nga po namin at matagal na namin panawagan sa pamahalaan at sa DOTR LTFRB na payagan na ng 100% na makabalik ang lahat ng pampublikong transportasyon para doon sa tuloy-tuloy na serbisyo.
Okay, paano naman yung kasi nakakita na ako mo din ng mga jeepney na may mga plastic barrier. Sabi ni Secretary Roque, darating din tayo sa panahon na pag medyo stable na, basta may plastic barrier kahit na magkatabi-tabi na dyan sa jeep, hindi ba marami ng jeep na gano'n ang ginagawa?
Nakaano po yan, Sir Cito, doon sa inilabas ng ITF, kung di ako nagkakamali nung bahagi ng March o ng March-April, na sinasabi po ng ITF na papayagan ng mga pampublikong transportasyon, lalo na ang jeep, na magbumiyahe sa ilalim na magre-reduce ng 50% ng passenger. Kaya sa bahagi po namin ay protect naman kami sa mga pasahero at sa aming mga driver. Kaya nag-inasitiba na po yung mga association at yung mga operator na naglagay ng mga division sa loob po ng mga jeepney para matiyak po yung sinasabi ng ITF na distancing sa lahat ng pampublikong transportasyon.
Okay, paano ang magagawa o ginagawa ninyo o gagawin ninyo tungkol naman dito sa, siyempre tama rin naman yung gusto mangyari ni Secretary Tugade na pilitin nating maging cashless at saka yung suggestion naman ng iba na hindi na yung kada kanto para. Dapat daw point to point para malimitahan at makontrol natin yung posibleng pagkalat, infection, etc. Anong mga napaplano ng PISTON at mga kapwa ng operator?
Ang sa amin po ay mungkahi po namin sa DOTR ay muling pag-aralan yung proposal na kay parang point to point yung magiging biyahe ng mga jeepney. Sapagkat ng ating pong mga pasahero ay kanto-kanto din po yung ating mga pasahero. Paano po halimbawa kung yung halimbawa sa ngayon yung katulad po sa EDSA na mayroon na lang pong parang 6 na babaan at sakayan, ay paano po yung nasa mga pagitan ng mga loading and loading? Halimbawa yung sa bahagi po ng mula Trinuma, yung paano po yung part ng Timog, Kamuning, na ang kasunod na extension ay nandun na po sa may bahagi ng Tuason. Ganon din po sa bahagi po ng mga jeepney na mungkahi po namin ay muling pag-aralan ng ating mga kinatawan sa loob ng transportasyon na mahihirapan na maging point to point yung mga jeepney dahil nga po yung ating pong mismo mga pasahero ay sabi nga natin ay may 2 kanto, 3 kanto, may bumababang pa na pasahero.
Pero Mody, pagpaumanhin mo na, no? Kasi ako pusang gala ako, pare ko. Ako kung saan bansa pumupunta. Hindi naman ganun ang sistema sa maraming bansa. na kada kanto para. Sa ibang bansa, talagang puro terminal at matuto ang tao
Apo.
maglakad o pumwesto. Paano ba nakakaapekto itong point to point sa inyong mga driver? Kasi ngayon, naglilimos yung mga kasama natin. So makabalik kayo sa ruta, malaking bagay na. Madagdagan ng pasahero, malaking bagay na. Pero yung point to point, ano ang pangamba ninyo bilang driver o operator?
Sa bahagi naman po namin ay kung usapin po ng point to point ay basta maging mas maayos lamang yung magiging policy. Kasi ang isang problema talaga po rito, Sir Chito, ay yung katangian nga po natin dito sa Pilipinas ay magkaiba yung katangian ng ibang bansa. Sapagkat sa ibang bansa po yung mismo nga transportasyon nila ay government po yung nagpapatakbo ng transportasyon. Kahit
Oo.
yung sa ilalim po ng mass transport, dapat na naman talaga na magkaroon ng isang mas maayos na yung ating transportasyon dito sa ating bansa.
Okay, nabanggit mo naman yung salitang mass transport kasamang Mody, no?
Opo.
Kayo ba sa larangan ng mga jeepney drivers, napag-aralan nyo na ba yung, well, hindi posibilidad. Ito ay siguradong mangyayari. Darating
Opo.
at darating tayo sa punto na yung mga jeepney natin, yung mga yan, mapapalitan na yan ng mga train, mga tram,
Opo, opo.
etc.
Opo.
Sa ngayon, ano ba ang ginagawa ng mga kasama natin na parang hindi na makapaghintay, kapit na sa patalim? Nag-aalisan na ba ng Metro Manila o ano ba ang mga balakin?
Ang karamihan naman po ng mga ating mga driver at mga operator sa ngayon ay yung iba talagang bumalik po ng probinsya sa panahon ng 7 buwan na tayo po ay naka-lockdown at nasa gitna po ng pandemya. At yung iba talaga ay naghanap ng ibang alternatibong kabuhayan. Pero mas malaking pa ring bilang ng sektor ng mga jeepney at driver operator ay narito po sa National Capital Region. Sapagkat ang pagdating naman din nila ng probinsya ay wala din naman halos kabuhayan din, na siyempre ang pinakaano po doon ay magsaka, no, yung pagbubungkal ng ating mga lupa. Ang isang nagiging malaking problema, Sir Chito, yung ating malapad na kalupaan dito sa ating bansa na umaabot ng 30 milyong hectares ay hindi naman pag-aari ng mga magsasaka, kundi ito ay mga pag-aari din ng mga malalaking mga panginumay lupa. Kaya't merong mga malakakaranggot na mga lupa, yung ating mga driver at operator dito sa Manila ay hindi sasapat doon sa kanilang pangangailangan ng kanilang pamilya.
Alam mo, pinapanood ko itong video na pinapalabas natin habang tayo naguhuntahan, Mody. Nakakita ko lang, no? Kasi iba-iba na yung forma ng mga jeep. Merong 8, merong
Apo.
10 kada
Apo.
bench. At ngayon ay ini-introduce na yung modern jeepney. So sa madaling sabi, kung sasariwain mo yung alaala natin, nung unang
Apo.
lumabas yung mga jeep na yan, 4 lang yan.
Apo.
Ngayon, marami yan na. Hindi ba kaya talaga ng mga jeep membro ng Piston o ng mga iba pang asosasyon na mag-modernize katulad ng gusto mangyari ng LTFRB at na DOTR?
Actually, Sir Chito, ay ang sektor po ng transport, lalo na sa hanay po ng Piston, ay matagal naman at ang una pa mang bahagi ng panunungkulan ni Pangulong Duterte ay malinaw na po yung aming posisyon sa ilalim ng modernization program. At ito naman ay malinaw na nasubukan na po natin sa loob mula po noong 1946 hanggang sa kasalukuyan ay patuloy naman na nag-i-inform yung ating mga jeepney. Sabi nga ho natin ay 1964 ay Shelly's at lang yan, mga owner type na 3-4, pero sa ngayon ay meron na po tayong mga 20-seater, 30-seater. Ibig sabihin niyan, kaya po nating sumabay doon sa usapin ng modernization program. Ang hamon nga po namin kay Pangulong Duterte ay yung aming pong sulat sa kanya noon pa ay rehabilitation ng mga pampublikong transportasyon, sapagkat yung kung titingnan po natin na Sir Chito, yung inilabas ng LTFRB at ng DOTR noong 2017-01 ay malinaw lamang yung nakalagay doon sa kanilang mobile franchising guidelines. Kailangan naming ilipat yung pintuan sa kanan, kailangan namin itaas po yung ceiling. Yung po yung malinaw na nakalagay doon sa mobile franchising guidelines. Ay sabi namin ay sa ilalim ng modernization program ay bakit hindi naman pwede naman gawin sa rehabilitation ng mga jeepney, sapagkat ang jeep po ay isang sabi nga natin isang history ng ating bansa, no, sa iba't ibang mga bansa ay talagang mataas yung kanilang pagkilala sa ating mga jeepney na dapat ito ay isa sa pangunahing pinoproteksyonan at pinoprotektahan ng ating pamahalaan kung paano papaunlarin yung ating usapin ng mass transport. Sabi nga po natin ay ang Pilipinas naman ay may kapasidad, may kakayanan sa usapin ng papaunlad ng mass transport. Ang isang nagiging malaking problema, Sir Cito, tayo ay walang sariling industrial ng makina at ng bakal. Meron tayong mga hilaw ng mga materialis pero wala naman tayong mga pabrika na pwedeng paglutuan ng bakal at ng gulong. Ay sabi nga natin ay lahat ng sangkap sa paglikha ng sasakyan ay narito sa Pilipinas. Kaya ang matagal na nga po namin sa hinaharap po natin, hindi lang sa ngayon dapat tayo nag-uusap, kundi yung ano yung hiharapin ng susunod na mga henerasyon. Kaya sabi nga natin, opo, ang isang pinakado dyan ay talagang magtayo talaga tayo ng sariling industriya.
Maganda yung nabanggit mo yan, Mody, kasi alam mo, hindi naman katagalan, meron namang gumagawa ng gulong dito sa Pilipinas. Kung ako nagkakamali, yung Goodyear, ano? Pagkatapos, meron tayo dating mga planta ng paggawa ng bakal, kanya nga lang, yung mga naunang gobyerno, hindi pinahalagahan yan. Kumbaga, kita lang, buwis-buwis. Ngayon, tayo nagdudusa. Pero, mabalik tayo sa usapan mo, Di. Kanina, napag-usapan natin yung point to point, walang kanto-kanto. Yung mga terminal ba ninyo, na-resolve na ba natin yung problema na yan? Kasi doon sa video, nakita ko yung terminal dito sa may Bonnie Avenue. Karamihan kasi ng terminal para bang umusbong na lang at sumasakop ng kalsada. Dito ba sa pandemic, na pag-aralan man lang ba yan habang may panahon, na pag-usapan ba yan na bawat LGU ay dapat magbigay ng official ng terminal?
Opo. Sa bahagi po natin ay matagal na po nating nire-request siya sa lokal at sa national at sa lokal na pamahalaan na talaga naman tulungan yung sektor po ng transportasyon. Dahil kami naman ay ayaw din namin talaga mag-terminal sa karsada Pero ang nagiging isang malaking problema, Sir Cito, yung pong mga private terminal ay talaga naman libo yung mga pinag-uusapan. Halimbawa, may nakukuha po kami mga bakanting lupa, mga naano po namin sa mga individual na mga may-ari ng lupa. Pero mahal talaga yung ano. Kaya sabi nga po namin ay tulungan ng gobyerno. So sapin po ng mga terminal na talagang halimbawa ang local government ay mag-produce ng isang lot o isang lugar na pwedeng pagtayuan ng mga terminal ng mga pampublikong transportasyon. Kasi kami po, Sir Cito, ayaw din po namin sa karsada na mag-terminal. Kaya lang napipilitan po kami dahil talagang yung wala kaming makuha kami mga lupa. Halimbawa, mag-terminal kami sa mga mall. Ang tanong doon ay magkano ang renta sa mall, yung sa mga SM, sa mga ay mahal, hindi kaya ang sabi nga po namin ay sana tulungan ng gobyerno, ng national na pamahalaan, tulungan ng lokal na pamahalaan na magkaroon talaga ng specific na mga terminal ng mga pampublikong transportasyon.
Mody, matanong ko lang kasamang Mody, no? Kayo ba, at ako sana wag mong bilagyan ng mali siya yung pagtatanong ko, no? Kasi nasabi mo na sana tulungan ng pamahalaan o local government yung mga samahan ng jeepney. Kayo bang mga jeepney driver o mga operator ay nagbabayad ba ng buwis? Kasi kung nagbabayad ka ng buwis, karapat dapat lang din na tulungan ka ng pamahalaan dahil pinagkakakitahan kayo.
Opo. Ay pag-usapin po ng buwis, Sir Cito, ay pagbaba pa lang namin ng aming tahanan, pagsakay namin sa jeep, nagbabayad na po kami ng buwis. Pag kami po ay nagkarga ng krudo, ay automatic na meron pong almost 10 pesos na buwis, direct of buwis. So sa pinantax sa ilalim po ng VAT, sa ilalim ng common carrier ng reducer tax. May nagbabayad din po kami ng iba-iba pang mga buwis sa panahon na nagre-renew kami ng prangkisa, ng rehistro, ng aming mga sasakyan, ng lisensya. Kaya sabi po namin kung sa usapin pa lamang po ng crudo, Sir Cito, ay halos 180 pesos kada araw po direct na buwis na binabayad namin sa pamahalaan. Kaya pag tinignan po natin sa loob po ng 25 to 30 days, halos umaabot po ito ng 3,800 pesos na buwis, na direct na buwis. Wala pa lamang po sa mga krudo na ikinakarga namin sa aming mga jeep. Kaya kung sa usapin po ng buwis, ay mount to mount po yung pagbabayad po namin ng buwis. Pag hindi po kami nagbayad, dalawa sa rehistro po, ilang porsyento po yung kinukuha nila dyan sa rehistro ng aming mga jeepney. Pag nag-renew po kami ng prangkisa, ilang percent po yung 6%.
Magkano ba, Mody, pagpasensya mo na, no? Kasi very educational itong usapan natin, no? Maraming matututunan. Magkano ba binabayaran ninyo para irehistro ang jeep? Kasi yung kotse, pangkaraniwan dyan, 2,000 hanggang 3,000 eh. Yung mga jeepney, magkano ba ang parehistro niyan kada taon?
Halos umaabot din po siya ng mga 5,000 kasi gawa po ng insurance. Nung yung restore po ng jeep ay umaabot mga 3,500, tapos yung insurance po umaabot po ng 1,500. Ito po naman yung insurance ng ating passenger insurance. Opo, third party po.
Yung insurance na insurance na walang katuturan.
Kaya gusto usapin po ng
Mabuti na yung magkaliwanagan tayo, di ba? Kasi kayo ba pag na-aksidente, nakukubra nyo dun sa insurance na yon?
Meron naman, kaya lang matagal na proseso po yung dinadaanan.
Okay, so nagbabayad kayo ng rehistro, nagbabayad kayo ng insurance. Sa prangkisa naman, every year ba yan? Annual ba ang prangkisa ninyo o 5 years?
Ang prangkisa po ay sa ngayon ay every 5 years yung ating prangkisa. Pero meron po kami binabayaran na 160 per month, parang part of doon sa common carrier tax.
Okay, magkano yung prangkisa?
Ang prangkisa po ay pag nagrehistro, umaabot din po ang nagre-renew, umaabot din po ng mga 7,000.
So 7,000 so divide mo na lang, di mga 1,200 o 1,500 a year, pagkatapos 3,500 to 5,000 yung rehistro. So taon-taon malaki-laking pera kung mga 15,000 ang inaakyat ninyo sa pamahalaan meron. Ilan ba mga jeepney sa Pilipinas sa guesstimate mo, paring Mody?
Kung dito po sa National Capital Region, batay po sa datos ng LTFRB, ay nasa 74,000 dito sa NCR. Pero po sa buo po,
pakiulit at medyo nag-arbol
sa buong bansa ay umaabot po ng 174,000 na mga jeep at umaabot ng almost sa mga 150 na mga operator at 600,000 na mga driver.
Yung bang operator nagbabayad ng buwis na legal para sa kanilang... nagtatanong lang, huwag ka magagalit.
Opo. Kasi yung sa Sir Cito, yung sa renewal po ng prangkisa, ay sagot po yan ng yung renewal ng prangkisa, renewal po ng jeep. Ang may cargo po niyan ay yung mga operator. Opo. Ang mga driver naman po, ang cargo naman nila yung renewal of license.
Okay, pero yung kinita, yung buwanang kita o taonang kita, may sistema ba ang LTFRB, BIR o kung sino man para obligado yung wala talagang lusot yung operator? Kasi alam naman natin yung jeepney driver halos magkasya lang yan sa pakain sa pamilya, no? Pero yung operator medyo malaki-laki. Magkano ba boundary sa jeepney ngayon, pare ko?
Depende po Sir Cito sa haba ng biyahe. Halimbawa yung yung Antipolo Cubao ay 1,200 pesos po yung boundary. Yung mga maiksing ruta naman meron pong 500, meron 700. Kaya depende po rin sa haba ng biyahe at sa haba din po ng jeep na binibiyahe po ng driver.
Pero malinis yun, ang binabayaran mo lang yung paggamit ng sasakyan, hindi yung walang taya yung operator sa krudo, langis, etc.
Wala po, sagot po ng sagot po ng driver.
Ayun, kasi parang ang nangyayari dito kadalasan ang napapako sa cruise o nahahagupit yung driver kasi yun na nakikita. Pero hindi nakikita ng tao na yung driver sagot yung krudo, sagot yung pati rehistro sagot ng hindi niya sagot yun, lisensya lang
Apa.
sagot niya.
Apo.
Okay. Sa pakiwari mo, Mody, ito bang kabuhayan na ito tatagal pa? Kasi alam mo yung mga magsasaka pakonti-konti, wala na. Yung mga anak nila, ay nako, mag-OFW na lang kami kaysa magsaka kami. Kayong mga jeepney driver, yung bang mga anak ng mga jeepney driver, nagnanais pa bang maging driver din o wala na?
Sa ngayon po, hindi yung buhay na karansanan po natin, yung mga anak po ng jeepney driver, ay pag nakapag-aaral po ito, ay minsan nakakabili sila ng mga unit, nagiging operator. Yung iba naman ay nag-OFW dahil nga doon sa kakulangan at kakapusan ng kita dito sa ating bansa. Pero yung tagal ng mga ating mga jeepney ay tingin po natin ay tatagal ito sapagkat ito naman ay katuwangan ng gobyerno sa usapin ng papapainog ng ating pang-ekonomiya.
Okay. Well, sana ang dasal na lang natin, Mody, medyo sana bandang huli lumiwanag, magkaintindihan at magkatulungan at kumbaga maiayos natin ito na ikabubuti ng lahat. Maraming salamat sa umagang to, Mody, at mukhang nag-improve naman at masayang makakabalik naman yung ilang kasama natin sa kalsada.
Opo, at sa ngayon naman po ay meron ng 302 na mga ruta na binuksan. At meron na pong halos 27,000, pero bagamat ito ay talagang maliit na nakakabiyahe pa rin at mga ruta dahil sapagkat dito po sa National Capital Region ay meron po tayong 579 route at meron po tayong 74,000 na mga jeep. Kaya sa amin po ay hindi lamang sa National Capital Region, kundi po yung aming mariing na panawagan talaga kay Pangulong Duterte at sa DOTR. At nagpapasalamat kami do sa mga posisyon ng ating mga congressman at mga senador na talagang inano na nila na payagan na 100% ay makabalik yung mga lehitimong mga publikong transportasyon, hindi lamang po ang mga jeepney. Sapagkat sabi nga po natin, yung isang pag-aaral nga po ng nung isang hearing sa Kongreso, ang sinasabi nila, yung nawawalang national budget na perde, halos umaabot po ng 1 billion. Kaya kung sa loob po ng 30 days, hindi mayroon pong 30 billion na dapat ito ay nagagamit na po natin sa pandemya, sa pangangailangan ng ating mamamayan. Kaya kami po ay nananawagan sa pamahalaan kay Pangulong Duterte, sa LTFRB, sa DOTR na napayagan na makabalik ng 100% yung mga pampublikong transportasyon sa pagsiservisyo sa mamamayan.
Sige, salamat, Mody. At sana
maraming
okay, thank you.
Maraming salamat, Sir Cito.
Okay, yan po si Mody Floranda, Pangulo ng PISTON, and we will go for a break. When we return, our third guest regarding the effects of tablets, Androids, etc. on our children who are now schooling online. Here on Agenda. Okay, you're back here on Agenda. I'm Cito Beltran, and you are watching us via Signal TV, channels 8 and 250, facebook.com/OneNewsPH, and on YouTube, OneNewsPH. Okay, babasahin ko lang po muna itong mga mahalagang information which is collated or gathered by the Team Agenda Research people para sa inyo, because right now many of our all of our kids, most of the kids are studying online distance learning. There's a great dependency on cell phones, mobile phones, on iPads, laptops, etc. As the outbreak is limiting people to remain within the confines of home, their daily screen time has increased dramatically, putting stress in the eyes. Pati ako, nararamdaman ko na yun. Ophthalmologists who are witnessing a surge in the number of patients with eye-related ailments say that long hours of screen time, often without a break, due to work from home and online class, is badly affecting the eyesight of the people, especially students. The most common is digital eye strain. Symptoms are reddening of eye, eyes, eyesore, and teary eyes, while severe symptoms include headache and pain in the eyes and neck. The rapid rise in children's consumption of electronic media has occurred alongside another frightening trend, increase in childhood myopia. Okay, mabuti na yung na nagkakaintindihan tayo dito, no? Most electronics use backlighting for display screens, which gives off shorter wavelength ultraviolet blue light rays, though blue light rays directly from the sun can damage the retina, the blue light from screens are comparatively weaker. It can't directly damage the retina. This blue light can disrupt children's circadian rhythms and lead to sleep cycle deregulation. Kaya nga po marami nagsasuggest o nagsasabi na pag kayo ay matutulog, anything and everything that emits blue light. Ano yon? Yung mga cellphone, yung mga monitor ninyo, yung mga TV ninyo, yung mga soundbar ninyo. Lahat yung mga bagay-bagay na yan na may ilaw, isara nyo o disconnect nyo. Ako dati ginagawa ko, ino-off ko lang. Ay, ngayon po, bumabangon ako, ina-unplug ko lahat kasi talaga namang nakaka-apekto. Studies show that too much screen time with devices can also cause brain abnormalities, obesity, and sleep disorders. Yan po, no? Alam nyo, pansinin niyo ako, may mga kilala akong mga tao, yung mahilig mag-all-nighter, o kaya yung late na late matulog, pagkatapos late na late gumising, kadalasan po medyo may tendency lumapad. Okay? Dati sinasabi namin, baka lang katulad kayo ng lahi naming lahing salbabida, makalanghap ng pagkain tumataba. Pero hindi na po uso ngayon yun. Karamihan ngayon, yung kulang sa tulog, bumabawi sa pagkain, yung bumabawi sa pagkain, kumikita ng taba. Ayun, nakikita nila yung taba sa katawan nila. Ophthalmologists will encourage parents ophthalmologists encourage parents to teach their children the 20-20 rule. Okay, nandito na po yung ating panauhing pandangal. Siya po ay head of the Department of Pediatric Ophthalmology and Strabismus at the Makati Medical Center. She's also a refractive surgeon at Shinagawa LASIK and a current active member of the Philippine Society of Pediatric Ophthalmology and Strabismus and the Philippine Academy of Ophthalmology, Dr. Mary Rose Teodoro Chang. Good morning, Dr. Rose.
Good morning, Cito.
Okay.
Good morning to all our audiences.
Okay, thank you for joining us, Dr. Rose, Mary Rose, kasi I'm worried. A lot of people are worrying about tablets, iPhones, iPads, connectivity. And sabi ko, problemahin ninyo yung mga mata ninyo because pagdating nyo ng edad ko, baka mas bulag pa kayo kaysa sa akin. Your feedback po, Doktora.
We are seeing a resurgence of errors of refraction, tumataas ang mga grado ng mga bata. Marami pong pumupunta na mataas na, hindi pa nadidiskubre, no? Pero meron na silang headache, o kaya medyo nakatilt na yung head, no? O kaya laging kumukurap-kurap, o kaya nagluluha, o kaya nagkakaroon na ng mga nagra-rub na ng eyes, no? So yun ang mga dahilan na pumupunta sila sa amin. Pagkatapos makikita po namin may mga grado na o kaya eye strain lang dahil sa paggamit ng computer. So kadalasan po, binibigyan namin sila ng mahahalagang tips. Unang-una, proper posture. Kailangan eye level po. And then we make sure that the child is seated properly, not too close from the gadget, at least 18 to 24 inches po away from your eyes dapat ang screen.
Mhm.
At saka kung talagang hirap makakita ang bata, dapat palakihin po ang font size ng ating ginagamit na screen, computer screen.
Oo, oo nga
At
naman ano.
brightness.
Mhm.
Brightness is very important to a comfortable level. Isa pa yung pinatawag naming visual breaks or 20-20-20 rule, wherein it's so important that after 20 minutes of intense activity in front of your gadget, isara lang ang mata ng 20 seconds, 1001, 1002, 1003, hanggang maging 20,
Mhm.
relax, and look far. Kaya maganda po may bintana sa malapit para pumapasok din ng sunlight. Because sunlight is very important for us to be able to have the proper growth of the eyeball. At saka ito rin po ay napakahalaga dahil it affects our photoreceptors sa retina. Marami po na nagkakaroon ng grado, wala pong exposure na at least 2 hours sa sunlight. And then the other thing is, it's very important to look far for 20 seconds after that 20-minute tinatawag naming break, no?
Mhm.
Look far, at least 20 feet away.
Mhm.
So, the 20-20-20 rule is the best. Pero dun sa hindi makasunod po dito, dahil meron silang klaseng tuloy-tuloy, sabihin nating 1 oras, di gawin nating 60 seconds po na break wherein you close your eyes for 60 seconds and then look far for 60 seconds. This also prevents dry eyes. The other thing is frequent blinking also prevents dry eyes, no? At
Mhm.
meron po tayong mga safe na eye drops na pwedeng gamitin, preferably yung tinatawag nating preservative-free para maging makatulong po sa ating mga bata ngayon. The
Okay.
other thing is, dapat walang electric fan na nakatapat sa mukha natin, no? Or direct wind, mas lalong magda-dry eyes kasi. And then
Mab
lubricant drops are
mhm.
to be prescribed by your ophthalmologist kung
Diyan
kailangan
ako diyan ako
po.
bilib sa'yo Doktora Mary Rose, eh. Ngayon lang tayo nagkita sa ere pero huli mo kaagad kasi ako kurap ako ng kurap at niloloko na ako ng mga kaibigan ko but talking to you, I suddenly realized I'm sitting right in on the direction of the
I don't,
aircon.
ah,
Kasi ang dami kong ilaw dito, eh, siyempre kailangan may mga
syempre
ilaw.
kailangan
Kanya yung
komportable.
mata ko tuyong-tuyo. Eh, kung matulog naman ako, walang aircon, naka-electric fan naman.
Ayun po, nakaka-dry eyes po, lalo na po over 40.
Mm. Ang
Kasama
bait.
dyan doon
You're
over
so
40.
you're so kind, Doktora. In any
And then
case,
at the same
okay,
time,
go
what's really very interesting is that we blink 10 times less when we're using a computer gadget. We blink 10 times less when we're gaming. All that.
Mhm.
So, dapat frequent na kumurap na lang habang ginagamit yung ating mata, no?
Mhm.
During this intensive process of using the digital screen. What's also very interesting is the effect of blue light. Hindi po ba maraming binibenta ngayon na harmful blue light actually, na
Mhm.
glasses para anti-radiation. Yun po ang madalas na tinatanong sa amin ng mga pasyente. Kailangan na kailangan po ba ito? Actually, studies have shown that these anti-blue light glasses have a very minimal effect. At the
Mhm.
most, it actually will screen out 30% of harmful blue light. And then at the same time, hindi naman po nakakabulag itong mga screens or yung blue light coming from the screens. Mas matindi pa po yung harmful blue light from the sun.
Mhm.
So, extra added layer lang po ito sa mga nagsasalamin. Pero
Okay.
it becomes so commercialized that people actually wear it all the time if they're in if
But
they're studying.
yeah. Is there such a
remotely.
Yeah,
Quiet.
is there such eyeglasses for computers? Because I actually use one and I can tell the difference. Parang if I use my regular glasses which are progressive, mapapagod ako habang gumagawa ng column. But if I wear, actually nandito, mukhang Ninoy Aquino glasses, when I wear this, the font seems to be just slightly sharper and slightly closer. What's your take on that? Is that just me imagining things?
No, no, no. We have anti-fatigue lenses for those who are actually above the age of 20. Di ba?
Mm,
Marami tayong mga call center agents. And this runs up to the age of 50, no? 40 or
mm,
50. So meron tayong computer distance na glasses po na
mm,
tamang-tama lang para sa needs ninyo. So
mm.
that one really helps. And usually they're coated already with the anti-blue light or harmful blue light type of coating.
Yeah.
So that really is catered for the office or
Mhm.
for what we call mid-distance and near work.
Yeah,
So
because
meron tayong
I had one.
ibang
I have mine made by Essilor.
yes.
Pinagawa ko ito. Kasi yung sa akin, progressive, eh sabi ko, naduduling ako pag nagko-computer. So, iginawa ako ni Dr. Emily nitong pang-computer. Although, I used a different frame. Galit nga si Dr. Emily sa akin. Ano ba, binababoy mo yung lens ko. But it reminds me of my dad. In any case, so, the computer glasses, it works. But yung sinasabi ninyong anti-blue light, medyo
Yung mga
parang,
nabibili ng mga hundreds of pesos, yung
oo.
very commercially pushed, it doesn't necessarily help.
Mhm. Okay.
That's
Ano pa, doktora?
the other thing is it's very important that depending on the age of the child, how much screen time should be allowed.
Mhm.
Pagka po mga, let's say, mga toddler pa lang, we encourage more playtime and then 1 hour screen time lamang. Pero pag nasa big school na ang bata, let's say 5, 6, 7, and above, then we do already what we actually just talked about, no?
Mhm.
Yung tinatawag nating 20-20-20 rule, or more than that, dapat merong visual breaks and
Mhm.
then adjust the gadget to be at least 18 to 24 inches away.
Mhm.
Okay?
So, okay.
Pagkatapos nun, hindi natin maiwasan na magtagal, di ba? And then
Mhm.
once they want to have leisure time in front of a gadget or TV apart from their schooling, we never go beyond 2 hours of allowing that as parents.
Okay. Eh, malaking bagay. Alam mo, Doktora Mary Rosa, I have to thank you so much, sincerely, because all the tips and including the material you sent the team, that I hope will really be remembered by many people. And meron ba kayong website for this sort of thing na para yung mga viewers natin can go to check?
There's
Go ahead, ma'am.
It's called PSPOS, the Philippine Society of Pediatric Ophthalmology and Strabismus.
Okay.
So, nasa Facebook po kami, and I would appreciate it if you can visit that. We are more than 40 specialists in this country, only 40 plus, at the
Mhm.
maximum of 50, serving you in a special way. Strabismus means yung mga duling, banlag, at saka iba-ibang posisyon, no, ng mata na kakaiba. So
Mhm.
yan po yung naayos namin ng mabilisan na lang ngayon. At
Okay.
hindi katulad nung araw, sabi nila, paano ba ayusin yung mata? Kailangan bang tanggalin para maposisyon ulit ng hindi naman. We just adjust the muscles, no? So, even for people who, I've had people na ikakasal, kailangan talaga maganda sila. So, idinediretso natin yan ng mga bata, most especially
Hmm.
habang bata na
Okay.
idediretso. Yan.
Okay,
At
Doktora, we'll schedule you for a second interview kasi alam ko specialist din kayo sa LASIK. And then alam mo, pinag-uusapan natin dito bata, pero kaming matatanda, kailangan din namin magkonsulta sa inyo. I would like to discuss these concerns with you in another interview, Doktora. And I hope it
very
will be soon.
relevant po. Yes,
Okay.
because there are so many options now not known to people to be free of their glasses at any age.
Okay,
So
sige,
we
pag-usapan natin
call
yan.
basic, but we also have refractive lens exchange.
Mhm.
We also have ICL, or the contact lens in front of the natural lens inside the eye, apart
Okay.
from the usual cataract surgeries.
Sige.
Napakaraming lens to choose from.
Okay. We'll have to end it here, Doktora, at ako'y magbabayad ng overtime. Thank you very much.
Maraming
But
salamat po.
okay,
Maraming salamat sa pakikinig at sana nakatulong po tayo sa
very
mga
much so.
nag-iisip kung paano nga naman ang gagawin.
Okay, that's Dr. Mary Rose Cheng of the Makati Medical Center. She's the head of the Pediatric Ophthalmology and Strabismus and a practitioner, part of the Philippine Academy of Ophthalmology. Yung sabi niya, Philippine Philippine Society of PSPOS. Okay, tingnan nyo na lang po sa website. Well, we do hope you picked up a lot of information today. That is our goal, to help everyone out there. And we hope that you will continue to watch Agenda. Please pray for us as you pray for your loved ones. And we hope that you have a good day. Take care. It's raining. So just be careful out there. Have a good day. God bless all of you.